Okay, good evening, members of council, members of management. We have some guests in our chamber gallery here for our public meeting today, the lovely month of June 6, 2024. It is 12:12 p.m. We have 13 attendees attending via electronic media. I'd like to welcome everybody to our public meeting of council. I would ask a member of council that we call the meeting to order. Moved by Councillor Darren Roberts, seconder, Councillor Myra White. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is now in order. We always like to start off with our land acknowledgement as part of our reconciliation. We respectfully acknowledge the town of Stephenville as the ancestral homeland of different populations of Indigenous people. We also acknowledge with respect the rich histories and cultures of the Beothuk, the Mi'kmaq, the Innu and Inuit of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Item number 3, I would ask a member of council that we move and approve the agenda as circulated. Moved by Councillor Darren Roberts, second, Councillor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, approval of the minutes that were circulated by our town clerk. We have resolved to approve the public meeting of council minutes dated May 23rd, 2024 circulated. It is our duty as council to read those minutes. So if for errors or omissions, I would ask a member of council that we move to accept those minutes. Moved by Councillor Darren Roberts. Second, Councillor Tom O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any matters arising from those minutes? No matters arising. I will now move into proclamations and delegations. I just want to say that later on next week, we will be doing the official proclamation, but June is actually Recreation Month. And I have to say that it's the time going into your summer season, coming out of spring, that, you know, all of your sports teams, whether it's soccer or baseball, softball, running, but we're so fortunate in Stephenville. We do have an aging population, like most municipalities in this province and in this country, but we have some beautiful walking trails. We do have a new accessibility committee that has been formed with great participation and support. And thanks for being on board, Laura, that we are endeavoring to ensure that we have enhanced accessibility for people that need it. So this proclamation, it's really an important part for the role we play in recreation as part of one of our mandates. And we are enriched with recreation facilities in Stephenville. And in a lot of cases, it's thanks to the building of the U.S. Air Force Base in Stephenville. Plenty of green spaces, ball diamonds, soccer pitches. The YMCA that we currently own and is managed by that great organization was built as a recreation facility by the U.S. Air Force Base in Stephenville, but we have so much to be proud of. Also, with respect to inclusion, we had the opportunity this week to raise the pride flag, and the colors of that pride flag mean so much. And what they mean, and they're all significant on their meanings. But I just want to say that as part of our inclusion as a community, that we are very proud to say that we support pride, we support all people who are involved with reconciliation, and these proclamations are so very, very important. On that note, I would turn it over to our chair of finance in our committee reports, item number 7. 7.1, I'll turn it over to our chair of finance, Councillor Myra White. Take it away.
Thank you. Welcome to all the attendees online, our gallery. Welcome. Item number 1 is accounts payable. Be it resolved to pay accounts payable for May the 28th, 2024 in the amount of $60,000 $925.41. I so.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts.
Mr. Mayor, just to
Question.
elaborate on that number so people have a bit of an understanding where the $60,000 is going. That's a relatively low number of accounts payable for us. I mean, that's good to see. But part of that, I'll just go to the larger numbers. $6,897 of Canadian liquid air. I mean, that's parts, welding supplies and that type of thing for our public works and garage that keeps our equipment running. There's crane supply, $14,238.75. I mean, that's pretty much an ongoing supplier that's on our accounts payable, because that's where our piping and valves and that type of stuff goes for our public works department when they're doing repairs. There's ELC contracting limit in the amount of $21,082. That's the local contracting company that has the standing offer to supply us with equipment when we need it. I would think a large part of this goes to our spring cleanup and rental of trucks and equipment to help public works with spring cleanup. It's other larger number is for UAP for $5,700. Again, that's parts and that type of thing for our fleet of equipment. So I mean, when you start adding up 21,000 to 5,000, it doesn't take long to chew up to $60,000.
Okay, Councilor Tom O'Brien, thank you for that. Councilor White. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
Item number 2 is expense check listing. Be it resolved to pay expense check listing for May 2024 in the amount of $528,058.22. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts.
Again, Mr. Mayor, just to give people an idea, we're $528,000. You know, I'll just pick on the larger ones. There's $30,000 there, which is part of our stadium annual grant, the operating grant for the stadium. There's $48,956 there, which is the May basically payroll remittances, and that CPP, UIC, income tax, and that type of thing. There's $7,652 for JW Consulting Associates. That's in reference to what you just spoke about, our accessibility and inclusion plan. That was the consultant that helped us out with that. There's $43,921 for a monthly recurring supplier, Newfoundland Power, for April month. And then we move into $11,040, which is part of our previous commitment for the Western Health Recruitment Benefits. Then there's a $40,000 annual part of the operating grant for our regional aquatic center. The pool, there's $15,000 for $15,800 for Whaleback Nordic Ski Club.
Oh, the cemetery.
Cemetery's 15.
Oh.
8.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's the Bay St. George Disc Golf, $3,197. Bay St. George Mountain Bike, $7,427. Southwest Coast SPCA, $17,000. Walkways, Parks and Trails Committee, $19,000. Steamboat Theater Festival, $15,000. True Line pavement markings is a substantial one, $79,904, just to get the lines that painted on the street. You wouldn't think that when you're driving around town that it would cost just about $80,000, but that's what it costs. There's $23,702 there for the Business Improvement Association, commonly known as the BIA. That's that represents the $1 million extra in tax that we collect from the BIA. Basically goes back to the BIA. Then there's a $38,579 payment to CIBC Mellon. That's basically our pension payment plan for May month. And then for May, it's $88,020 for Receiver General of Canada, which is the CPP income tax. And that's, so you mean that when you're reading those numbers, it doesn't take long to add up to 528. But a lot of those groups, like the Regional Aquatic Center, the cemetery, way out back, the disc golf, the mountain bike, the walkway parks, Stevenville Theatre Festival. I mean, that's all part of the fabric of our community. Without all those groups doing their thing, and with some support from the town, there wouldn't be much in town if we didn't.
And it's a one-time thing, right?
I
Yeah,
just want to say, all these numbers are all budgeted numbers,
Yeah.
whether they come out of community grants, and we have a due diligence process that management and council goes through before any disbursements happen. And just when you look at a $10 million budget, we should be averaging, and if you add up this, we're a little less, but in a run of a year, there's certain months that will actually have higher expenses, especially when we start doing contributions to whether it's MCW project, if it's not financed, if it's coming out of general revenues, but we should average about $800,000 a month because we have a $10 million budget. So 812 is 96. So we're in line when you see numbers like this come through. And remember, we have 23 public meetings a year. So when you start adding it all, per month should be about 800,000. Okay, so Councillor White, you can continue.
We did vote.
we vote.
Oh, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Item number 3 is Property and Collection Officers Report. A, be it resolved to approve
Emission.
Be it resolved to approve remission of tax in the amount of $292.40. I so move.
By Councillor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councillor Laura Aylward. Happy birthday, Laura.
Thank you.
I'll get that later in the show, but I just want to reemphasize that it is your birthday.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 4, request for sponsorship 2024 CFF Memorial Bike Ride. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville provided sponsorship in the amount of $500 to the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation Memorial Cycling Ride. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councillor Maurice Hine.
I'd just like to add to that, Mayor, that I mean, this is a $500 sponsorship to the Canadian Fallen Firefighters Foundation. One of our own firefighters, Nigel Pike, actually goes to Ontario to take part in this. Nigel covers all his own travel and that type of thing. And this $500 goes to the foundation. I mean, each and every time, I mean, an emergency call comes in and our fire department has to respond. I mean, it could be a life and death situation. They don't know really what they're walking into sometimes. And hopefully it never comes to pass that our department or the families have to avail of the Fallen Firefighters Foundation services. So full kudos to Nigel for taking part in this.
Councillor White. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contramine.
Nay.
Noted. We have one contramine, Councillor Darren Rupp.
And the reason I'm saying nay is that I don't believe we should be using taxpayers for donations or that type of stuff. That's my saying to.
Thank you very much, Councillor Robert, for your comments.
Item number 5, request for grant, BIA. Be it resolved to approve a grant in the amount of $23,000.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Thank you.
I got to leave the table, sorry.
He did tell me and I completely forgot.
So it's supposed to be declared, John. Even though you said he's leaving, declaration of a conflict.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Is it related by Roberts?
Councillor Roberts is in conflict of interest. And he's removed himself from the table.
Okay, duly noted.
Duly noted, okay. Item number 5, the request The request for grant BIA, be it resolved to approve a grant in the amount of $23,702 to the Business Improvement Association to match 2024 tenant assessments of 1 mil. I so move.
By Councilmember White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Council Laurel.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'll point out this 23,502 also matches the amount that was just approved under our expense check listing. The first 23,702, as I said during the expense check listing, is 1 mil that the businesses in the BIA area actually pays into the town. The BIA, I think, was incorporated in 1989. The local businesses, which basically consist of Main Street, Bowling, Prince Rupert, the right-hand side of Queen Street, going down from Main Street to Prince Rupert and up Queen Street to St. George's Avenue. And over the years, the BIA has done a lot of work downtown. The interlocking brick was a BIA project, which they funded through their funding from the town, which was the 1 mil plus matching funds, along with the tapped into provincial and federal money. The lighting project is another one comes to mind. They put considerable money into the square downtown. The flowers you see hung on Main Street in the summer months is the BIA, and you see a couple of students with their safety vests and that on going around the BIA area. They're either picking up garbage, or they're going with a broom sweeping off sidewalks, or they're going with a little cart with water tanks in it and pumping up water to the flowers. So I mean, the BIA has done a tremendous amount of work over the years, and certainly they've put a lot of work into it. Presently, Bob Burns is the chair of the BIA, and the committee is made up of business people from that area. So hats off to them for the work that they put into it.
And thank the town as well for being a participant with the BIA as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I'll just turn to Gail. I'll just speak on it too for a moment. Yeah, I just want to say too, from a taxation perspective, just to echo what Councilor O'Brien said, we do collect an extra mill, and we have, some years have matched it, some years we haven't. They tend to take on projects that carry debt load on their part because they're an incorporated body. So they are still holding, I think, close to $10,000 on the books to be paid on the last project that they completed, which was a partnership project between the town of Stephenville, the BIA, the provincial government, and the federal government. The lion's share of the money that went into the town square was paid for by the town of Stephenville and its great citizens. So I guess the goal would be that they would use this additional funding to pay off the debt that's on their books on the town square. So I just want to make a note of that.
Okay. Thank you.
In that regard, Mayor, I mean, from the research was done, the only years that the BIA did not get the matching funding was from 2018 to 2023, those 6 years. So I mean, that had they received their funding over that 6 years, there would have been an extra $178,000 that the BIA would have received. So I mean, basically, for the money the town put into the town square, their matching funds over the last 6 years would have repaid the town $178,000. I know himself and you will continue to disagree on that, but that's my opinion. That's my stand.
I'm going to turn the gavel back while we just speak on that. So I just want to clearly say this, that when we give the mill rate under the Municipalities Act, we cannot give out loans. And in the past, the town may have loaned the BIA money and they probably paid back money and so that, but under the Municipalities Act is not permitted. We're only permitted to give out grants and what we're doing today, we're giving out a technically matching grant from a mill we collected under our taxation regime. That's an annual thing. And today we're voting. And it could be defeated today. It's not a guarantee that runs in perpetuity. It's something that is measured based on the success of the BIA, the fiscal ability of the town. And as we go forward, we work closely with our business community. And I will also say that our spread between residential business tax, property tax, sorry, and business property tax is only 1 mil. And that's a very narrow margin compared to some other communities. And we've been recognized by the Canadian Federation of Independent Business as having a really good tax regime in supporting our local business. So we will continue to support the BIA, but it's our goal that they will take on more projects to enhance the downtown, because the downtown core in a lot of places is your lifeline of a community.
And just like to say thank you to the BIA for paying back $178,000 of grants that we got.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay,
Vote.
Oh,
All in
get a
favor?
vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Carry. Councilor Robinson, you can return to the page, sir.
I'll even wait until. Item number 6 is approval to travel. Be it resolved to approve Mayor Rose and the CAO Bill Ramsey to attend Energy NL Conference and Exhibition 2024, from June the 4th to the 6th, 2024 in St. John's. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second?
Second, Councilor Laura Elder. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilor Mine? Carried.
Okay, that was the last item on the finance.
Okay, nothing late for finance? Okay. Okay, item 7.2, I'm gonna turn it over to the birthday girl. She looks like a young girl to me. You must be in your 60s.
Yeah, getting there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to get your first pension check. There you go.
You're treading on dangerous ground. You're starting to ask her age.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I better move on.
I'll soon be getting my pension.
You'll soon be getting your senior's pension. God love you. Yeah. Okay, I'll turn over to Chair of Planning and Traffic 7.2 to Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Planning and Traffic. The Planning and Traffic Committee met on June 4th, 2024, and the following items were recommended for council approval. Permits. Be it resolved that the following permits be approved as presented. Applicable permits will require inspections, licenses, and permits as required by Service NL. 2 Fairview Road to operate Airbnb. 20 Oregon Drive, subdivide into 2 parcels of land. Construct 5-plex as per plot plan. 13 Tennessee Drive, approval to use existing maintenance garage to be certified to complete motor vehicle inspections. World Energy Dock area, conduct environmental sampling, remedial work, geotechnical inspections, remove remedial materials to approved storage, and complete road maintenance as per Zone 3 and Zone 4 on map submitted. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laurie Elwood, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Myra White. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Approval to rezone 150 Minnesota Drive. Be it resolved to approve to rezone parcel of land as per map located at 150 Minnesota Drive from comprehensive development area community services to public use to accommodate collaborative care clinic. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Laurie Elwood, seconder. Second, Councilor Tom O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And that's all today, Mr. Mayor.
That's it? Okay. Well, that's great to see movement with the Port of Seymour and World Energy as this project moves down the line. They've actually got well over $100 million spent in this project to date, even though they haven't reached final investment decision. But I feel confident that we will get there in time. Okay, bylaws and regulations. We have nothing today.
Sure. Yes.
National Indigenous Day.
Oh,
Right on the bottom.
It's not really.
okay. That should have been, okay.
I did.
Okay, so, we do have, be it resolved that the town of Stevens recognized, Indigenous Peoples' Day on June 21st as a statutory holiday. Second, Councilor Donald Ryan, all in favor?
Aye.
We just pointed on that, Mayor, that's basically like a housekeeping item because there was a motion passed in 2019. The way the motion was written, it sounded like it was just for the 1 year.
Yeah.
But it's been recognized each year. So on go forward basis, this will be an automatic now.
Okay, so, yeah, there was just a typo, I guess, in the framework of the motion, so the point there, it's part of our reconciliation and it's so important, June 21st. Okay, any unfinished business? Did we get the full vote on that? Yes, all,
Yes, we did.
yeah, and that was unanimous, Jennifer.
So the under unfinished business, Mayor, I'd like to speak on the airport a bit. It was with mixed emotions. I saw the press releases this week where Porter is now servicing Deer Lake.
Yes.
It's mixed emotions because it's good to see another airline on the West Coast, which gives us another option when we want to travel. I mean, I can remember a few years back when Porter started in Stephenville. Brenda Martin was the airport manager at the time. I was the mayor at the time. And so I saw how hard Brenda worked to get Porter in her. The first year they came in, I think it was 1 flight a week for 10 weeks. The second year, and she had a multi-year plan in place with Porter, which was working out very well for us. The first year, I think it was 1 flight a week for 10 weeks. The second year, the schedule was increased to 2 flights a week. Then the third year, the start and the finish of the season was extended. Then they went into coming in before Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, and out after New Year's, and it was continuing to grow. It's I guess then the pandemic happened in the air industry overall. You mean went south, for want of a better term, but now the Porters come back to the West Coast. I mean, it's good to see them back on the West Coast. I would have much preferred if they were at our airport. But in relation to that, I mean, I think we need to ask the management of the airport and the owner, Carol Diamond, to come in and meet with us and give some updates on when. I mean, they keep saying there's going to be commercial aircraft coming in. I mean, I think we need to get a little bit of an update in that regard. On the second point on the airport, I know the town manager, the CAO, Bill responds to manager or CAO, but is working to try to get some of the previous board members in to meet with council and basically just give us an outlay how this deal unfolded and all that stuff, particularly when it comes to the $10 million that was originally in the original announcement that in fall of 2021. That's all I have.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll just add a couple of things that I was really disappointed with Porter from a corporate perspective, because the airport and the town and the citizens put at least $500,000 in Porter over 5 years. That helped them with their marketing to get their company and their service identified in the Stephenville region. And to know after 5 years of working with them that then they left our airport and went to another airport, very disconcerting and very disappointed with, the corporate structure and the corporate responsibility. And at the end of the day, money talks, I guess. And the Deer Lake put more money and more offering into the pot than we can, but really disappointing for me as a mayor. And I knew how important Porter was to the airport and to the citizens that flew with it. And I felt they got a great service. And it's unfortunate that we got to drive, a couple hours to Deer Lake to get on a Porter flight right now. But think about the people that live in Island Morton, Point Bass, and Burgeo, and Cape St. George. That's 3 to 4 hours. But our time is coming. And on the note to we do have the Diamond Group invited to our stakeholder, and I'll speak on that under new business for June 19th to give an update of their plans and where they are. And so we will get that, but if we wanted a private one, I'm sure while they're in town, we could get that.
But in addition to that, Mayor, you mean, at this point, I can't say that I'm disappointed in Porter. I mean, we were very pleased to have Porter. We were very pleased to see Porter services to Stephenville increasing each and every year, along with the plan that Brenda Martin had in place at the time. Yes, the pandemic happened. I don't know what reception Porter got when they came back to our airport to start to resume service to the West Coast. I certainly don't know if they put any money into it or not. So you mean it's not being totally upfront when we lead people to believe that Deer Lake would put more money into getting Porter into Deer Lake than Stephenville would getting them in to Stephenville. That's information we don't know, unless you know something we don't.
I don't know.
Okay, so you mean at this point, I wouldn't be able to say I'm disappointed in the Porter because I don't have enough information.
Well, I'm disappointed in Porter because we've got $500,000 in Porter to build a market here.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
so the thing is when, the 5-year 125,000 that was paid out, to me was a wrong move by that present board and the manager, because if they had gone with a 1 or 2 year, and as a result, that was a downfall having to pay $125,000 a year to an airline to come in here. And for 5 years, it was really a drain on them. I don't think that was a good idea at the time at all. And I told that to the chair of the board when we sat at this
It
table.
was my hope that as the carriers all planned or November to January flight management plans for the new fiscal year coming in 2025, that Porter will relook at Stephenville because of the economic activity that will happen in our town. Plus other airlines like WestJet, Air Canada, and PAL,
Yeah.
whatever else is out there.
Remember when the airport committee was formed?
Yeah.
And the only community that would give to us, I was on that committee, the only community that would give us any money, we were trying to get Porter to come in at the time. Matter of fact, Tony Young was trying to get Porter to come here at the time. And the only community that gave us money was Port aux Basques. The other communities all around didn't give us any money. And Port aux Basques gave us $5,000. And we had a lot of money collected for Porter to come in here that year. And my brother and another senior citizen went out to Port aux Basques to get that money. And the town mentioned to us that if we didn't get the goal that we were looking for, which was at the time was 100,000, whatever it was, they would lend us the money, sort of thing, till we got the money we paid back. Anyway, for whatever reason, and I can't tell you why because I don't really know the reason, something went wrong, and it didn't happen. We even had a fundraiser at Rizzuli's to raise money for the airport that time, and it didn't happen.
There's a lot of passion in our community and region, and when you own the airport in the province of Newfoundland, there's 5 of them. There's 2 in Labrador that don't have commercial service, and it's not acceptable. But our time has come.
And Brenda did a lot of work, and because, and trying to get people, I guess, or companies to come in, because she used to fly back and forth into the US and stuff like that. So she must have been trying to get business to come here, right?
If I may,
So-
I worked with you during this time. And we pretty much tried to build a military portion. We went to visit every National Guard unit, the Air Reserve, and we were building on that. And was doing quite good. The story to sidebar was that I guess we were in a competition with another airport on the island, and they sort of threw a monkey wrench in. We started rebuilding it after, but it was not really the same. We had excellent support from Canadian Border Services. Their VP came to visit with us, liked everything we were doing, and they were quite happy with it. So yes, it was. There was a real effort to attract business. We even had a company do a study because every time you buy an airline ticket, you give your postal code. And so they were looking at all the postal codes that came from the Bay St. George. So we submitted that. And of course, airlines are into making profit. And even though we would like to have an airline aircraft that has 100 seats and we have 50 filled, they would like to have 60. And if you're only going to fill it with 40, that's where they want to have an escrow account to cover that. So it was some things that we wanted to do. And for most of the airlines, they knew we were a bit desperate. So they said, if you're that desperate, why don't you pay this fee and why don't you pay our promotion? It was a bitter pill to swallow, but we thought, like you did, once they came in and the service was good, the training was good, I must admit, they did a good job. But at the end of the day, they were looking at their profit margin.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the deal originally with Porta that Brendan negotiated, it was a multi-year deal, because I mean, we were saying the airlines, the market is here, the market is here, the market is here, but we didn't have any statistics to back it up. So, I mean, the airport, I mean, Brendan at the time and council that was sitting around this table at the time agreed that we needed to put some money where our mouth was to. It's and the money that and the town basically gave the grants to the airport, and the airport worked the deal with Porter. That money was for marketing to make sure that the flights and the service got well promoted and used. And Porter had good load counts going on Stevenville, so they were pleased. And that's why each year they continue to increase their service in Stevenville. But anyway, I think it's something that we need to be asking the airport now. I mean, did Porter contact them, and what reception did they get?
Well,
Anyway,
I think if we had the money, Tom, I think they would have came regardless of how they got treated. Personally,
I think
if you got the money,
it's really outside of our equation now.
Yeah.
It's a private airport. Before it was a community-run airport, we supported it with taxpayers' dollars up to $500,000 a year. But those days are over. It's private now, and we wish Diamond and his company and officials all the best in attracting commercial, corporate, cargo, and military aircraft back to our airport.
Military, recently, we saw the line of some military
Yeah.
jets here, also some diversions. So that there's a possibility that it can grow from this point.
Yeah.
And of course, as you guys all noted, we've had a couple of meetings with them about their plans for the future, and have encouraged them right from the first discussion to bring forward a discussion for the public of the area as to what their plans are. So hopefully they're able to respond in the upcoming public stakeholder session.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to June 19th. They will be on the docket for a presentation and an update. Okay, any other new business?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I need to talk about the healthcare issue again. I had a call a couple days ago that 3 people had been sent to St. John's by air ambulance. One man in particular, he was 90 years old, query heart attack, and he was told that he had to go to Deer Lake because air ambulance wasn't coming in here anymore, and they sent him by taxi. And apparently there was 3 that day that had to go into St. John's, and they were sent to Deer Lake. And the 90-year-old man, I know for sure, had to go by taxi. Now, if I was a family member, in that case, I would have got on the phone and called somebody, I don't know who, maybe the premier, and said, look, my father or my grandfather, whoever it was, is not going to Deer Lake by a taxi. If the plane's in Deer Lake, okay, but he has to go by ambulance. And if not, the plane got to come here and get him. Because a lot of time, I think, and I guess people, and I've been known to do it myself, even though I was a former worker at the hospital, you don't like to buck the system. You don't like to be getting aggressive, not aggressive, but you don't want to be, saying, well, you have to do this, I have to do that. But we have to find out what's going on with this situation, because it had been like that a few months back, and now it's back again.
So
it
why don't,
what do you call it, that reared its ugly head again.
so what we should do.
You know.
I mean, that we have our CAO, contact the CEO of Health Services.
Yeah.
And CC the Minister of Health,
See what's going on.
to ask why air ambulance has stopped coming into Stephenville. If that's the case, let's get the facts on this and determine that if somebody needs to go to St. John's and an air ambulance, that means they're pretty sick. And our hospital is only 5 minutes from the airport here, and it should be all about the greater care of our citizens. So let's let our CAO.
Yes, that's
Get a response.
that's a good idea.
I don't think you need to be a healthcare professional to figure this one out. I mean, a 90-year-old individual that has a heart attack has been escalated to the level by the local physicians here that they need to go to St. John's by air ambulance. Putting that individual in a taxi cab, it doesn't obviously, no, it's certainly unacceptable. So you mean, it's, yes, you mean, our CEO needs to jump on it. And,
Yes, yeah,
Just to
and
really find out where that originated from, that story of why they don't. come.
well, it came from the family.
That's right.
Because I
So-
mean, I know the family.
Let's follow it up. And, you know, it's our duty as counselors to, when we see something that doesn't seem right, let's dig in and try to fix it.
Because when I hear a rumor, I make sure that rumor is true and that comes from the very source. But aside from all of that, that meeting we had here with Western Health there a few weeks ago, and we asked a lot of questions. We didn't get the full answers. We still didn't get an answer when, you know, mammograms are going to start again here. As far as I know, they haven't. We don't know. Dr. Khan, I've heard he's back to work on a full-time basis. I don't know if that rumor's true.
Well, I heard that from a very valid source this morning.
So it's supposed to be true.
Thomas back, our nieces.
Okay, our surgeon, Dr. Crowley's still here. He's still doing, you know, endoscopes and things like that. He's going to be here till September, but there's still a lot of problems that we have to deal with, and the recruitment is one. And I'm in the process now of getting some emails ready to go to Truman Grenham and Tony Lee Blanchard to get an update on Dr. Duplessis, the surgeon that was, and his wife that were coming here. And it's boggled my mind that it's taken so long. Like I told the CAO, or I think she's called, no, COO now, Tara Freak, the other day. You know, what's the big problem with our anesthesiologist? He's not getting paid the same parity, the same wages as the physicians in his category in Western Health. What's wrong with that picture? And why is he on a locum in Corner Brook? He's on a locum. Why is he not doing it here? Why did they accept his resignation after he gave it to them in January 1st? Why didn't they try to work with him and come to some kind of a, we got to pay him $100,000, pay it. They're paying it to the emergency doctors to come here. What's the big deal? So this is what really bothers me about the whole situation. We're being treated again as second class because there's a group in Western are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be supporting us and sending us out help when we need it. And that's what you call sharing services. It's not being done.
And as far as the mammogram department is concerned right here, they called me up and told me they're putting me on a list for Corner Brook for the have
So
done.
like I said.
So they don't have any idea when the next time they're going to have anybody in the mammogram department.
So we'll stay on that file. We always have, and I want to thank you for your dedication, Councillor Aylward, on that file and council as a whole.
Some our discussions and found out.
Yeah. So anyways, I got a few things, I got several things here, so I'll try to get through it here. So first of all, I just want to say a little update. Myself and our CEO ended up driving to St. John's because the flights into St. John's were canceled due to RDF, rain, drizzle, and fog. And it's not easy to leave beautiful Stephenville, sunny Stephenville to go to St. John's, but we had to do it. So we ended up getting far as Gander on Monday night and overnighted in that great town. Next morning we got up at 4:30.
Glad you said that here.
What's that?
Glad you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. And great airport town. Yeah, and
Which depends on Stephenville.
yeah. So I got to say that I've had close encounters with moose traveling my day on the road, but myself and Mr. Ramsey had a close call, but it wasn't with a moose. It was coming around a turn and the roads were wet, and coming around a turn, probably 30, 40-pound beaver was right in my wheel well. And I had to make a choice. Am I going to hit him? Because I felt if I hit him, I was going to maybe lose control, have an accident, because they're pretty heavy. But I went around and managed to keep the Dodge pickup on the road. I was pretty impressed with my Dodge that day, let me tell you, but it was a very close call.
Was it a moose, you said?
Oh, no,
No.
beaver.
Beaver.
Oh, a beaver. Oh, gee.
So like,
I've seen zebra on the road.
so I might have to contact the work services and say, I see you got moose signs and caribou signs. Maybe it's time to get a beaver sign put on, because it happens. But I just want to say the Energy NL conference was very successful. We only stayed for 2 out of the 3 days because of commitments. We had meetings with Aramark this morning and our public meetings today, which is very important. But it was the largest attendance of Energy NL to date in our province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Some great speakers. Opening morning, it was ExxonMobil with World Energy GH2, Sean Lee. Went very, very well. The great news, and we've been working closely with World Energy and DOB, which is in Delft. It's the Bibliotech Technical School in the Netherlands for wind technician and wind program and hydrogen program courses. We got to visit the Netherlands and DOB, and while we went to Rotterdam, there was only about 12 minutes on a train ride to get to Delft. And but I was really excited on a couple of fronts from the meeting. In the presentation from World Energy, they spoke highly about how Stephenville and its wind DNA and its potential is going to be a green energy hub. When they talk about a hub, it's not just the potential for a hydrogen plant, which is coming, but they talked at the presentation about green steel. That would mean another industry and a smelter. And they talked about sustainable aviation fuels. And for anybody that's followed World Energy, they do have a refinery in California where they, I believe it's blue hydrogen for United Airlines. But by 2030, United Airlines, a big carrier in the US, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, will be transitioning to green hydrogen. So knowing that in front of the world at this Energy NL conference, that World Energy is talking about other industries looking at Stephenville potential from green steel smelting to sustainable aviation fuels was really great to hear. And that very same day, Sean Lee, that's CEO of the project, and we've been working with World Energy and lobbying Halapu, doing personal visits to the DOB Academy, that in all Newfoundland and Labrador, Sean Lee announced that the DOB Academy and World Energy and Halapu in partnership will be building a brand new academy in Stephenville. And I was so happy when I read the article on All Newfoundland and Labrador. Great news for us. Remember, the DOB Academy has got a great history, a great reputation, a great alliance with World Energy in Stephenville. But having their academy in Stephenville, remember, it could have went elsewhere, and I won't mention where it could have went, but having it in Stephenville is so important for DOB and World Energy because the world knows about Stephenville now. From the United Emirates to every continent in this globe, Stephenville, we are ground zero for a green energy revolution. When the German Chancellor and the Prime Minister signed in Stephenville, going down as the most political signature in the history of our province, we are, Stephenville, Newfoundland is ground zero. So that was really encouraging. While we were there, Bill, as our CEO, we got companies that are looking at moving in, tertiary companies to support this industry. So we had some really, really, really good meetings. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, just a couple of others. The other mayors of the hydrogen announcements throughout the province got together with the mayor and myself and are working closely with us on a strategy to seek the province's support in a program that would cover off some of what we all need to do. Some of those would be items from regulations, items related to some consideration of the types of things that we will all face as communities doing these new projects and trying to do things promptly, as much as we can. And they have all the same problems we the towns of Marystown, Botwood, and the other one's a little different, but
Yeah.
it's Arnold's Cove.
And Arnold's Cove is
Theirs is for fuel. Of course, you've got the Come by Chance refinery there, and the idea of getting into hydrogen fuel created from, and of course, fuel is a possibility here as well. So there was an agreement when the other mayors sat down with us, and they were really looking to us as leaders related to this initiative. They have really good connections as well with government and know some of what's needed from their perspective. As a group, I think we have much more impact on what we may seek from the provincial government as supports, and the supports could include anything from financial support in some fashion all the way to regulatory change or support for assisting with what we have to do to get there. So they are all coming actually to the
June 19th.
event on the 19th of June, and wouldn't miss it because they need to get a feel for where we are as a community and our stakeholders as well, learn from it. And I'm sure that some of the mayors will speak as well if they're afforded the opportunity at the upcoming event. The other thing on meetings with various parties, we had interest from, in one perspective, one of the service companies, others inquiring about how they may set up. Some of our local suppliers here made their first trip to the Energy NL conference, and they were interested in what they could do to change their product mix in order to try to make sure they could stock some of the products that such a project may require. Additionally, on the real estate side, we met with a couple of developers of project type of housing, not just say a lodge type housing, like we just had a presentation from one of the potential bidders, but also from the idea of setting up a more permanent type of housing for executive and traveling international clients for projects like they've done in Arnold's Cove. So there's about 20 to 40 units in Arnold's Cove, which were set up in that fashion, fully furnished facilities that are available to traveling, generally supervisory personnel for projects and that sort of thing. And they're looking also at Stephenville, and we encourage some of them to help us with that part of the overall equation. We also were very strong on encouraging a work together with our local business and supply base, rather than coming in and, if there's a way of partnering with local providers, then that would be our preference, of course. And it may depend on whether they can arrange, have mutual business arrangements with them or not. And the DOB announcement, it's called, and I think that they made that public in the announcement, it's called Newegg.
Newegg, yeah.
Newegg is going to be the name of the new academy. And the group, when we met with them over in Delft, they were very, very complimentary to the work that they've been doing over here. It was indicated that the first graduates of the training course for hydrogen and wind technician, some of those people have just graduated from CNA, and I think CNA announced that when they were doing the recent signing of an MOU with us on future cooperation. So a lot of irons in the fire and a lot of things to follow up on. And housing, though, is going to be one of the big things that all of the different towns that are impacted by this, partly because of you've got projects, but also the way the housing market has changed in Canada generally over the last 2 or 3 years. There's interest rate impacts, demographic impacts, and also ability to find labor to build housing. Those are all key elements. So we're looking forward to working on those issues and seeing what we can do for solutions.
And the building of a new academy, remember, it's still final decision would not happen on that until final investment decision from World Energy. The project has full green light, full investment, full capitalization. So just clear to say that. And I just want to say for the June 19th Stephenville and area stakeholder update session, we will have Atlas Salt, Triple Point, Diamond Group, World Energy, CMEX, Maui, big signature companies that are actually operating and plan to operate, give project updates. We will invite our mayor and local service district leaders along with the business community. And we have the mayors from the other hydrogen towns invited. It's being coordinated through the town of Stephenville. I believe our deputy CAO is taking the lead on that file. So the communication has started to go out for the guest speakers. Look forward to that. It'll be a half-day session on a Wednesday morning, starting at 8:30, finishing at 1:30. I believe that's the timeline, Councillor Hines.
Yes, it is.
So that should be really good. I just want to say too that this is a very epic day, I guess, for the soldiers that fought for our freedoms. It is D-Day 80 years ago that the Allied troops, the largest mass of troops in the history of our globe, landed on the beaches of Normandy. And the Allies successfully achieved a mission and moved in to liberate France and move into Germany to end the war. It took a little bit of time after June. It carried into 1945. And maybe, Councillor Hines, you also have a big history there. If you could maybe, if I could call upon you just to talk about the significance for those that have given their lives on that day.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just as I guess, a coincidence, as I was pulling into the parking lot of Legion, a gentleman and his wife came over and presented me with sand from Juno Beach, sand from Omaha Beach, shrapnel from Beaumont Hamel, and shrapnel from Vimy Ridge. For people who are listening to that, we all see the American movies and on Omaha Beach, the casualty rate and so on. The only other sector on that day that equaled the devastation on Omaha Beach was Juno, where the Canadians landed. They were running into almost exactly the same obstacles. Well-trained, well-entrenched German soldiers. At the end of the day, the Americans managed to get off Omaha Beach. But at the end of the day, the Canadians advanced farther than anyone else on D-Day. So that showed the tenacity, the training, and the courage of those people who are there. Right about now, D-Day veterans are late 90s, some getting 100. But that's the last of what we call the greatest generation. The generation that grew up during the Depression, had nothing, asked for nothing, but
Forged on.
But gave everything. Yeah. So today, D-Day very significant. It drew a close to the end of the war, which without D-Day, it probably wouldn't have happened. Okay, so D-Day was the moment, the pinnacle moment of the Second World War, and so many gave their lives going forward from D-Day and afterwards, so that we could have the world we live in today.
And you can rest assured that Stephenville, and the former U.S. Air Force Base that was commissioned in 1941, played a critical role in moving equipment, arms, and troops into England as they staged for June 6. Your birthday, Councillor Hayward. Big day.
Big day.
And her brother George, who was a
And my
veteran
brother
and a
George.
member of our branch.
He was in the military, yeah.
Yeah. I just have one thing before I would ask for an adjournment. I just want to congratulate the City of Cornbrook and their Healthcare Action Committee for the opening of the Western Regional Memorial Hospital in Cornbrook. Old infrastructure. We got a new hospital ahead of Cornbrook back quite a few years ago, Councillor Aylward. We're getting a new medical clinic, but new infrastructure is critical for advancing a society. But I'd like to commend the City of Cornbrook and that new facility that will actually support our residents also along with our Sir Thomas Roddick Hospital. On that note, if there's nothing, I would ask for an adjournment.
So moved.
So moved by Councilor Meyer. Steady. Not sitting through, you're steady. And Councilor Maurice Hines, second. All in favor to adjourn? Carry.
There's one thing myself and the mayor guaranteed that we're doesn't